How's my audio compared to the BGM? Hello, everybody. TV viewers and VOD watchers alike. I am Mysteria Rayne, here for the third episode of Living with MCTD. Except you may have noticed I've changed it to Living with MCTD and More. Because this is a... Hi, welcome to my stream. How are you there? I don't know why I'm talking like that. Oh, hi. Thank you for watching. So today I have found some new articles. Oh, I should probably explain why I look different today. So I have... This is my flare-up model. So my wolf ears have disappeared, and I've got some dark circles under my eyes. I look very pale, huh? Interesting. Well, you can see that my hair is tied up too. Oh, thank you. I'm being chewed on. Okay, so let us begin. Alright, so our first... Hopefully we don't have any technical difficulties like last time. That was a mess. Alright, so the first article that I'll be reading out is... This is an extremely long one. So this one is called An Unexpected Detour, Life with Mixed Connective Tissue Disease. I'll just line these up so I can keep an eye on chat. And I'll close the player. Alright. So, this one is on the eye arthritis website. And I'm trying to find what that stands for, but that's alright, let's just get reading. This person is in America. It's a MYTJ. What's an MYTJ? So no one expects their life to change dramatically over a short period of time. This story highlights the most stressful period of my life in mid-20s. Traveling through the unfamiliar terrain of a new job, new city, and new relationships. I was trying to establish my career and a new normal life away from college and all that was familiar. forcing me to plan differently. Oh, crashing through. Oh, a life away from college and all that was familiar. I think I misread that. Crashing through was a diagnosis that changed my life, forcing me to plan differently, give up plans, and make new ones. To live as fully as possible was a rare chronic disease. You are okay, your health? Oh, thank you for asking. I think I'm okay. I'm just in the middle of a flare-up right now, which is why I have appropriately used my flare-up model. Oh, and I'm working on a little lore video. So you guys can look forward to that in the future as well. Okay. Where's that? A lore video. So basically a video to kind of give some, I suppose it could be described as like cinematic lore, some cool lore for the model. To explain like her wolf ears. Flare up is like when my disease kind of is more activated or active than usual. So usually I take suppressants to kind of keep it in check, but they don't always. Sometimes the disease flares up anyway and causes the issues with flare-ups like pain, even more fatigue than usual. Yes, it is extremely frustrating. That is true. That is very true. I think my most recent flare-up, a really big issue I've had here is, or this time around, is I kind of been extremely tired. And I kept thinking that I've got the symptom where it kind of feels like my blood has cement poured into it. And my whole body just feels extremely heavy and like even thinking about doing something really simple, like say putting, hi there, thank you for joining us. So I think it was like even thinking about putting my phone on charge just seems like a very impossible task. Just to even imagine doing that. So that's kind of what I mean by flare up. So yeah, thank you for asking that. So where was I at with this article? Here we go. So this person continued on. Crashing through was a diagnosis that changed my life, forcing me to plan differently, give up plans, and make new ones. To live as fully as possible was a rare chronic disease. Thank you for asking. I'm okay. I'm dealing with a flare-up right now, so I was just giving some information. I suppose it was sort of a way to look at it positively. I could give some updated symptoms from this time around. With no cure and 40 years ago, limited effective treatments I share here, my experiences as a young person who went from devastated to coping to, dare I say it, living well and thriving. Glad to hear. Thank you. With no cure... Oh, wait. I think I'm rereading that. I am not a medical professional. All opinions and medical comments are from my personal experience and are my own. So this person was born and raised in Philadelphia. Upon college graduation, with my degree and teaching certificate in hand, I followed my passion from teaching to the Washington, D.C. area where I went to work in a private Christian school as a second grade teacher. Teaching was hard, the pay was low, but I loved it and poured myself into it. For the next few years, I taught thoroughly, enjoying all of it. During my 5th and as it turns out, last year of teaching, I began getting sick. I had recently ended a long-term relationship that had been caring but unexceptional. Unfortunately, my boyfriend had mental health issues surrounding rejection that proved toxic, appearing suddenly after a seemingly amicable breakup. I didn't understand how toxic until he began appearing unexpectedly outside of places I frequented. Hold on. Just the... With fear and anxiety running high and 4 years of being sick with every infection and illness my little second graders could share with me, I knew this level of intensity could not continue. Symptoms of what I simply called stress emerged. Walking up my apartment steps, I became out of breath and needed to rest on the landing before continuing. In the shower, I would reach over my shoulders to wash my back and could not keep my arms up due to muscle fatigue. I actually recently learned something interesting, and that was that certain medications for MCTD can cause, I think it was, I'm not sure if they called it brittle bones, or basically it decreases your bone density. My boyfriend is Jesus, the law. Oh, that's good. And let's see. This was odd to me since I took aerobics classes, but soon the classes became too hard for me to do. I ran fevers but didn't have an infection I could pinpoint. That one day, I woke up in the morning and my hands felt funny. Actually, I will add another little note. We watched a video in last week's episode of Living with MCTD, and the video likens they sort of explained that part of the chronic fatigue was because your immune system is like normally a person's immune system activates when they get like a virus or there's bacteria it needs to seek and destroy. But because the immune system in autoimmune diseases is constantly active, it means your body is in a state where you're constantly like, it's like you constantly have a fever, because you know when you have a fever you get really tired, you get really clammy, you got no energy, you're pretty much bedridden. So they kind of explained it to that, which I thought made a lot of sense. Then one day, I'll get back to the reading. Then one day I woke up in the morning and my hands felt funny. Lying in bed, I looked down to see hands I didn't recognize. Puffy, swollen to twice their normal size and painful. This alarmed me. Having just finished reading a book about a woman who had liver failure, whose symptoms included just that. At 25 years old, I had been raised by Depression-era parents who took us to medical appointments only infrequently, and only when absolutely necessary. With no habit of routine medical care or an established doctor to call on, I randomly picked one and made an appointment. To say the appointment was disappointing is an understatement. My blood work was unremarkable. The physical examination did not seem of interest. I told him about joint pain in many joints. He laughed when I said my elbows hurt. I held up my hands and said, "But what about my hands?" The response? Some people's hands just do that. Yes, I have read a lot of, well actually, whoever's watched has probably heard of how difficult it can be for people who have MCTD to actually get diagnosed. And it can, a lot of times it takes them a long time and multiple specialists, and then, you know, as some people even took years to be diagnosed and they just had to live with the symptoms until they found a specialist who kind of knew what they were doing in that area. Yes, it is so messed up. At that, I left the office. I left the office, deeply discouraged and unsure what to do next. As a shy and unassertive person at the time, I would have typically accepted that and soldiered on. But this time, I said to myself, Leonardo DiCaprio. I was thinking about Leonardo DiCaprio today, interestingly enough. though. It's funny you say that. As a shy and unassertive person at the time, I would have typically accepted that and soldiered on. This time I said to myself, I know my hands don't swell like this. Leonardo DiCaprio. I was actually, because I was thinking about him because who's that one from Pirates of the Caribbean? And who also plays Legolas? Or Orlando Bloom, that's it. I was just thinking about how Orlando Bloom got 2 roles in a pretty big, what do you call them, fantasy trilogies. But then I was thinking about Leonardo DiCaprio, right? And I was just thinking, he's not really in any fantasy movies, is he? He's in like historical or kind of modern focused movies, or unless I'm mistaken. Am I remembering incorrectly? I just feel like he's in more real movies, not like fantasy based or book based. I mean, you know, fantasy book based, obviously. So I thought that was interesting. Beach. Okay, alright, okay. Romeo and Juliet, yeah, I suppose. But there's not really any fantasy elements in Romeo and Juliet, is there? It's kind of historical. Get Leo. I feel like that's triggering a memory. Oh, Leonardo. Oh, this is nice having some people in chat. Okay, keep the chats coming and I will keep reading. And I also know how I have been feeling bad for a while. With courage I didn't typically have, I called his office back for a referral. Any referral. Surprisingly, he agreed and referred me to a cardiologist. I was scared but was never happier to go to a doctor's appointment. A kinder man I could not have encountered at the cardiology office. Dr. Shah, a Sigmund Freud lookalike, did a very thorough physical examination, questioned me about all aspects of my life and health, then brought me back to his office. He looked at me intently for a few moments, thinking, and then took my temperature. He pulled a book off his shelf, shuffled through it, and then said, "Late afternoon fevers. Lupus." Yes, I will give a shout out to any doctors. Dr. Jennings, you say? Yes, shout out to Dr. Jennings. Where was I at? He looked at me with compassion and said, Dr. Jennings is from Royal... I assume you're saying Royal Melbourne. Oh, thank you for sharing that. And said, "Young woman, I don't know what you do have, but I know you do not have a disease in my specialty. I'd like you to see a rheumatologist." And see, here is an actual doctor. Like, he was a cardiologist. It wasn't even his specialty. But he knew enough to say, "Go see a rheumatologist. I can identify that this has symptoms of lupus." He referred me to the rheumatologist who would go on to diagnose me and manage my care for the next 35 years. Meanwhile, I felt completely drained with no energy upon waking nor throughout the day. I was fortunate to have the only student teacher utilised in our school that year, and she got quite an education. I was fortunate to have the only student teacher utilized in our school that year, and she got quite an education. Oh, you have lupus? Oh, that was mentioned in the video we watched last week too. You know what? This is perfect. As I said, I've renamed it to Living with MCTD and More. So I'd like to, obviously I'll still talk about MCTD, but I'd like to talk about all sorts of different autoimmune diseases. I sometimes say disorders. Um, and other medical conditions. So I might look up some articles about that to share as well. So thank you for sharing that. You may wish to become a regular viewer. Okay. Alright. Are you Jewish? That's nice. Okay, where was I at? All right. I had so many doctor's appointments and felt so unwell during the January term that perhaps slightly before she may have been ready, I allowed her to take on most of the teaching, sparing me walking, standing, and doing things I was increasingly unable to do. I called a nurse friend one morning on the day of a field trip and said, I can't do it. I'm so stiff I can't move, much less walk all day around a botanical garden. She listened, then recommended I get up, take a warm bath and aspirin, and see if that helped. It helped enough that I did go on that field trip. There was a significant first lesson. You're welcome. This was a significant first lesson in coping with chronic illness, calling on others when needed and pushing myself gently to do things when it was important enough for me to do. I felt proud that I had shown up for my kids that day amidst days of sadness and unwellness. But I was very eager for my appointments with the rheumatologist. Oh, we got another doctor shout out here. Dr. Oliver Lawless. Sitting in his chair after an examination and more blood work, he pointed to a whiteboard upon which he had written unfamiliar words. Rheumatoid arthritis, systematic lupus. Okay, yeah, I'm going to try and sound this out. Erythematosus, mixed connective tissue disease, scleroderma. It's not clear yet, but I believe you have one of these diseases. The words were all unknown to me. So scared and fearful for the future, did not even begin to convey my feelings. What I remember well is that he took the time to briefly explain each one of these diseases and say, I will help you. We'll get through it. He also added that he hesitated to diagnose me with anything at my young age, as it would affect my future ability to get life insurance and would saddle me with a pre-existing condition label, should I change jobs in the future. Yes, yeah, actually, I was literally just thinking, we know she has mixed connective tissue disease, but he listed all the different ones plus mixed connective tissue disease, and I was just sitting there thinking, well, you know, one encompasses all of them, so it's like this, and this, or all of the above. So yeah, it's funny you say that. But you know what's interesting? I found that he pointed out that it would be difficult to get life insurance. I haven't come across that yet, so that's an interesting thing. Lack of healthcare coverage for an illness deemed pre-existing and thus excluded from coverage in the US was a serious concern in the 1980s. Oh yes, this is from 1980s. Hopefully it's changed since then. These concerns were too adult for me at the time, but I was grateful with my limited resources and support that he was on it in bunny ears or air quotes. Okay, let's go down. Indeed. F them. My symptoms became more pronounced. Rashes, whoops, scroll down a little too far. Rashes, fevers, joint pain, and swelling continued. Hand swelling, Raynaud's, increasingly abnormal blood work. This led to routine changes to medications. To routine changes to medications. After another round of lab work, I received a message at work one day to call his office for the results. Upon doing so, he asked me to come in, but would not convey why over the phone. Alarmed, I asked him if I could bring a friend with me, and he said it would be a good idea. Upon seeing him, my friends and I were told, based upon the blood test results and my symptoms over time, I had MCTD. With the anti-RNP positive, the ANA very high positive, and speckled, the rest of the blood work and clinical signs were sufficient for a diagnosis. The sense of relief I felt was palpable. Since my initial presentation looked like lupus, and it was easier to say than mixed connective tissue disease, I often said, I have lupus. As the years went by, I began working for a technology company, and different features of MCTD emerged. After endoscopies and esophageal motility studies prompted my gastroenterologist to say, that's a scleroderma gut. After a physical therapist said, those are rheumatoid arthritis hands, and after a consulting rheumatologist said, well, don't you just have your own very unique disease, or very own unique disease? I determined it was best to simply state I have mixed connective tissue disease. Well, I mean, that is what it's called. And then define it at the audience's level of need and interest. I've never considered going to someone saying, right, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this, and I've got this. And overall, this is what it's called. After flare-ups were repeatedly tamped down with medications, and having made determined efforts to reduce unnecessary stress, I went into a sustained remission. Over time, I felt fortunate to be able to take my concerns to a faith community who prayed for and with me, and with whom I enjoyed a deep level of practical support and emotional and spiritual care. At menopause, my blood work went a little crazy. But with no obvious clinical issues, my dear rheumatologist's response was to simply monitor me, which in that case was the best course. I remain in clinical remission at this point in life in my mid-60s. The scleroderma-like features that appeared early remain, but are managed. Aging has not improved decades of joint, muscle, and tendon problems, so I find myself addressing issues as they come. It has been interesting to realize I am now dealing with problems of aging. Yes, I agree, it is very nice. Being of an age I was not sure I would ever reach. With nearly 40 years of chronic illness under my belt, I'm reminded of one of the first books I read about chronic illness, highlighting the life of Henrietta Allergem, a founder of the Lupus Foundation of America, Inc. She lived a good long life with periods of life-threatening lupus activity. Reading her biography early on convinced me there is life after diagnosis with chronic illness. I continue to try to make the most of mine and hope this article has encouraged you to do the same. Well, thank you for writing that article. It was very encouraging. I found that very uplifting. That lady was a real MCTD warrior. I mean, is a real MCTD warrior. This is very recent too, this article, 2024, just last year. Oh, that's sad. There was a person who wrote a comment And they said, "Thank you," in capital letters. I was ready to give up. I didn't think I want to do this. Oh, sorry, I don't think I want to do this. My symptoms are getting progressively worse. I am so glad you were able to do well. This MCTD had affected almost my entire body. Well, I hope they're feeling better these days. Okay. So we'll have an article break and I'll take any questions. Oh, and I was also wondering, what does everyone think of the music? I haven't had music in the background for the last 2 episodes, and I thought, well, it might be nice to have some background music. Awesome. I'm glad you think it's cool. Any questions? I'm also going to try and stream more often as well. No questions? Okay. The next article is the story of Vanamala, living with MCTD, a phoenix attempt. Don't wait for life, you live it. Well, that's encouraging. Okay. And let us begin with this person's story. 30 years ago, at the age of 16 years, I was diagnosed with mixed connective tissue disease. Well, what do you know? That's around the age that I was diagnosed, which is a rare chronic autoimmune disease and is a lifelong illness for which there is no cure so far. Immune system disorders cause abnormally low activity or overactivity of the immune system. In cases of immune system overactivity, the body attacks and damages its own tissues, autoimmune diseases. Immune deficiency diseases decrease the body's ability to fight invaders, causing vulnerability to infections. The immune system normally guards against germs like bacteria and viruses, but here it involves your immune system mistakenly attacking healthy tissue. MCTD is an overlap disease which may present symptoms of lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, polymyositis, scleroderma, Raynaud's phenomenon, which we forgot the phenomenon part, pulmonary hypertension, and Sjögren's. I think, oh, it might be Sjögren's. Sjögren's? I think she's misspelled it. Mixed connective tissue disease can occur in many people of any age. However, it appears to be most common in women under the age of 50. This disease can affect various organs such as skin, muscle, the digestive system, and lungs, as well as joints. Treatment is targeted to manage the major areas of involvement. The immune system attacks healthy cells and tissues, causing a variety of problems and symptoms of various organ systems. In my case, I experienced mainly symptoms of Raynaud's, rheumatoid arthritis, and Raynaud's, and Sjögren's, and pulmonary hypertension. That's a very scary word, by the way. Or I should say, those are two very scary words. Pulmonary hypertension. My immune system attacks my joints and muscles, causing a lot of weakness and pain. I am originally from India, Karnataka state and Mangalore district. I am a good classical dancer, singer, and artist too. I am from middle class family. I am lucky to have my doctor, Dr. Prabha Adhikari, Yenapoya Medical College Hospital, Mangalore, who treated me from the beginning for MCTD. So it's pretty good that this lady got a diagnosis and doctor pretty quickly. I had so many treatments, so many needles, and so many tests. She saved my life uncountable times from this worst incurable painful disease. Due to the painful condition of my disease, I have troubled her a lot, but she is amazing and ever smiling, consoling me, and never allowed me to feel low. Today I am living because of her good treatment, kindness, and spiritual words. The fateful year 1990, August, when I couldn't get up from the toilet seat. That would have been scary. severe pain in my knees. When observed in mirror, I could see my swollen face and my family thought I gained weight. After a few days, my finger joints showed puffiness and I experienced severe pain. The burning tightness in my muscles or the shooting pains in my joints, which is sharp enough that even the slightest movement makes me gasp. Sometimes when I describe joint pain that I've had, I kind of describe it as, oh, how do I describe it? Like my bones are splitting, I think is how I usually describe it. I think that's how is it. Yeah, that my bones are splitting, or is that the right word I use? I think it is. My fingers and toes had also started turning stark white every time they are exposed to tiniest bit of cold. And I had to start each day putting my fingers in hot water for 30 minutes as per my doctor's advice, but slowly losing my normal color. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for saying that. They said it's already here, by the way. Although you could probably see it in the VOD. But thank you for saying that. I kind of handed to this girl. She's like, you can obviously, or I can tell that English isn't her first language, but she's still taking the time to write out her experience, for other people to read. So, good on her. Before starting treatment, my mum went to various doctors. So much money we spent to cure my disease. In the meantime, Ayurvedic treatment was also done. My relationship with my family is very strong. By God's grace, even when I was at my worst, my mum was doing everything for me, including dressing, bathing, and feeding. W mum. Yes, I know some Twitch. I have some Twitch vocabulary. She never made me feel alone. She never treated me like a sick person or an incompetent person, but loved me as a newborn, helpless child. I am fortunate to have her in my life. Have you got a bro? Do you mean a brother? Or like a friend? Oh, well, I have, we haven't done a collab together, but I do have a VTuber brother. I feel so bad I can't remember his name. I know it's I know it's Starcry. I just can't remember if there's another word added on. Tony Starcry. Wait, Tony Starcry? Is it, or is it just Starcry? I'm pretty sure it's just Starcry VT. Is he stupid? I mean, between you and me, yeah, he's kind of stupid. Oh, very? Oh, I don't know what's going on with my hair there. Okay. During the time of my diagnosis, 1990, I didn't experience any symptoms. It's stupid. Yes, stupids. They can be quite annoying. I didn't experience any symptoms which I am facing now. I just felt the way I always felt during activity. A little out of breath. I never felt dizzy, no chest pain, no fatigue, no real symptoms. So naturally, I thought so many times taking medication was useless. But I regularly, oh wow, this lady's pretty. That's nice. Well, it's good that her medications were. What a cat. Have I got a cat? Have I got a cat? Well, Mazza, my VTuber sister, has a cat. But I suppose technically you could say I have a cat. all verbal. Interestingly, that Mazza has a cat, considering her abilities are more Aquila type. Okay. So naturally, I thought so many times taking medication was useless, but I regularly took medicine, what my doctor had prescribed, and I continued to live life with MCTD. Well, you know, I don't blame her, because the thing is, taking there's a lot of medications, and taking the medications. Oh, was I muted just now? Did you hear that? Oh, okay. What was the last thing you heard? Did you hear medicine? Did you hear me? Did you hear me read out what she said about taking your medicine? Okay. So I'll just say so what I was saying is the thing about medicine for MCTD is there's a lot of it. Obviously, medicine tastes pretty crap, so there's that. But there's so much of it. It can just be like real, you know, it can be a hassle, or you can start worrying about the medication you're taking, so then it can kind of add to your stress, or you know, it can be stressful, like organizing it to make sure you have all of it. And I don't know, like, how it is for people in other countries. It might even be harder if they don't have like government subsidizaries and things like that. So yeah. And then she goes on to say, I partied with my friends, I went to college full time, I worked full time, and I never let the thought of this disease bring me down. Honestly, I didn't care. Well, good for her. That's pretty nice to her. It's not like that for everyone, of course, depending on the severity of the disease, but it looks like she was able to do well with her level of disease. I think she said she was a dancer and such. So yeah. I never searched in internet what disease I have, especially because I believe my doctor. I am doing my daily work as regular people do. But I feel sad to say I left my dance class because of chronic joint pain. Oh, that's sad. Sometimes my health would change from one day to the next, so drastically that has made me strong and a more optimistic person. Those who knew me appreciate my strong will and hard work. After I completed education, my doctor called me and gave me a job as a clinical research coordinator. Damn. It's a pretty good opportunity. I was proud to join under my own doctor. My journey started from the day of getting my job with the treatment, including the drug prednisolone, but my life savior drug is sildenafil. I haven't heard of that one. I started to notice pain in my wrists and fingers, but I never lost hope in my life. Oh, okay, so she must have been talking about early on, and then she had some more. Oh, okay, here we're getting into the symptoms now. But I never lost hope in life. Several times I got admitted in hospital, and worst of all, a little illness also could land me in the hospital. Sometimes I used to get up in the morning with severe muscle weakness, such that I was unable to get out of bed and could not dress or hold a cup or spoon, and had difficulty swallowing solid food. Oh yeah, I see. So that was like early on, and then we're talking about more her life as it goes on with the MCTD, I think. I was, in addition, raised rashes on cheek, redness on ear, hair loss, and painful red oral ulcers. Sometimes I would get severe ulcerated rashes on elbows, fingertips, and toes. Pain in my wrist and fingers turned severe. I also used to get blood clots in my legs, especially in rainy season. Oh, that's scary. I began experiencing issues with very poor circulation in my fingertips and toes. That's the Raynaud's phenomenon. They would turn bluish purple and become very numb and uncomfortable. Along with this, my skin seemed to be getting very hard and thick on my hands, all of which were making it somewhat difficult to perform my job functions. It hurts way worse than it looks. I'm not sure if that's PUS. I think she's trying to say purple because she said or it's white. I'm not sure. But I'm not sure if that's Q's or it's white because there's no blood flowing anymore. It's drained a little clear fluid, but the pain is getting worse and my whole finger hurts. After a high dose of antibiotics and other medicines, pain was reduced. Wow, this got very dark. I did not expect it to get this dark. I lost my fingers and fingertips from symptoms of Raynaud's. Does she mean she lost like her whole fingers or? No, I didn't read these. I wanted to come in fresh so you could get like my fresh reaction. Does she mean she lost her fingers or just that the color? My disease had an impact on my professional life. Also, I was hurt numerous times because of insolent people. Oh, that's messed up. Many would refuse to accept food from me seeing my deformities. That's really bad. That's awful. I was emotionally condemned to face wretchedness. Whoa. I suffered with inferiority complex for a long time. Social support can have a huge impact on mental health when you're facing this type of stress, but sometimes I would not get it in my professional life. Automatically, it made me behave rudely, which would leave me alone, causing a lot of stress. But I could overcome this critical situation with support from my good, understanding friends. Oh, that's good. Time went on and I felt my body condition is slowly deteriorating. It attacked my legs as unhealed ulcer on and off cured and also had mouth ulcers. Oh, I think she must have more than mixed connective tissue disease. Honestly, I haven't heard much about ulcers with MCTD. I should look it up actually. Recently, about 2 years ago, multiple painful, unhealed ulcer on both legs, and during last 2 months it was severe, followed by fever. Unhealed ulcer was increasing day by day. It was very dark. I started taking painkillers in the morning and evening, and I have also used antidepressants, but nothing worked out this time. This is getting very sad. I was unable to walk even one step also. Where are you? I was unable to walk even one step also. My dreams of being a wife and having children faded away. I began to lose hope. I felt that this is the last stage of my life, but still I tried to fight with my severe pain. I was depressed because of chronic pain. I was crying whole day and night. I just wanted to die. One day oh wait, can I say that on Twitch? Should I read that out? Okay, I'll just say, I just wanted to give up. Let's say I just wanted to give up. I told my doctor and begged her to reduce my pain by hook or crook. My doctor would listen to everything patiently whatever I say and decided to do surgery. I agreed because I had abundant faith on my doctor, who was my savior. I went to meet a surgeon and was admitted to hospital for skin grafting surgery as recommended. Though I was not willing and knew it would not be successful, I still agreed. I had no hopes of recovery. Doctor who performed surgery answered all my questions. He was very caring and agreed to do my surgery. I had surgery for skin grafting on the 6th of October 2020. My doctor's spiritual words made me take decision for surgery. I am indebted to the doctor who suggested all different kinds of possible medication and took extraordinary care and standard treatment for my leg pain. She has a major role in infusing life in me. The procedure generally takes 3 hours to complete, and the patient needs to be monitored in the hospital for several days. After discharge from hospital, I met with my surgery doctor once in 2 days, then once in 4 days, then once in 15 days. I was surprised my wound was healing. Now my ulcer is healing with 98% recovery. Donor site was healing and clean also. Now I am back to my duty from 1st December 2020 and working with full confidence and happiness. Oh, there we go. That's nice. Well, congratulations. That's good to hear. I am overwhelmed with joy to say that I can walk without taking any painkillers. That's awesome. Living life as best I can with this disease is the feeling which that no one understands. Who knows what tomorrow holds? Miracles happen every day, and my miracle could be right around the corner. So I will look forward today. Finally, I know it as my co-pilot in life. It's always there with me, along for the ride. It's still possible to lead a happy and full life, and you just need to make adjustments. It may feel like you're alone, but your doctor, family, and friends are with you every time. So I will look forward today and value what I have in my present world, my present health, and my present life. But today I am alive. We are alive. And what could be better than that? And yes, I am finding my identity again as Miss Vanamala, the ever enthusiastic person. MCTD has taught me to live life. I am more appreciative of my quality of life rather than the quantity. I am blessed to have dedicated doctors who treat me, loving parents and friends. Without my faith, I would not have been able to overcome the challenges. They all are encouraging me to be a better person than I was. Live your life with no regrets. Learn from your mistakes and don't ever wish to change a thing or wish to have done anything differently. Everything that has happened happens for a reason. It gets you to where you are today. Love with every ounce of your soul. If you give that kind of love, someone somewhere will want to give it back to you. The reason I am writing this is to say that. If any of you out there have MCTD or any other rare incurable disease, don't take your symptoms lightly. If you have these diseases, it does not mean that your life is over. Having this disease can be difficult. I'm not going to lie and say that it's easy. Take your doctor's suggestions and take medicine what doctor prescribes. Always have faith in your doctor. You should be fortunate enough to get a good doctor. I am fortunate to get all these 3 efficient doctors in my life. Leave it to doctors. They know the best. More than 40 years of medical knowledge can't be replaced by 10 minutes on the internet. I believed my doctor, accepted what she told me, and I am now fine. Thanks to all those who joined me to make me see new sunshine. And then there's a little references area. Well, I'm glad that she Miss Vanaramas, I don't know. Hold on. Miss Vanamala. I'm glad that she had a happy ending. Okay. Alrighty. Any questions? Me too. Yeah. Okay. Alright, let's move on to the next article. Oh wow, time's flying by today. It's really good having some people in chat, so thank you very much for joining me. Mixed connective tissue disease, making friends with my invisible illness. By Miss Deskins. I won't say her first name, I don't think. This was done June 9th, 2018 and can be found on the wearemore.life/mixed connective tissue disease and then making friends with my invisible illness. But that's the link to get it anyway. Right. Today, when somebody asks me why I have this or that symptom, I can finally give them an answer. I can put a name to the strange collection of pains and illnesses that have been a constant companion. I can say that I have mixed connective tissue disease, an autoimmune condition. Of course, having a rare disease usually means that the fancy name only confuses people more. Their understanding isn't the point though. The point is that it took me 15 years to learn that name. 15 years of doctor's visits, physical therapy, false diagnoses, and self-doubt. Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier. There's there's a lot of people who have a very difficult time getting diagnosed. Hold on, where am I up to? I can say that. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, this is obviously somebody who's also had a really hard time getting diagnosed. I can't even imagine what that would be like, having to go 15 years without a diagnosis. Hold on. Having frustrating conversations with medical practitioners who prefer to make a snap judgment about my condition. They base their assumptions on a small subset of my symptoms rather than trying to help improve my quality of life. If any of this sounds familiar, if you can relate to this experience at all, I want you to know something. It's essential and it takes away the knack that chronic illness has for making you feel powerless. Listen carefully. You are not alone. Coping with mixed connective tissue disease. Ignorance is bliss. Yes, that is true. Ignorance is bliss. It's like with the previous article. You know how she mentioned that like she didn't look anything up. I was thinking maybe a part of that was she preferred that ignorance is bliss as well, perhaps. Or I don't know if it's really ignorant if she's got like her doctors. But I actually didn't learn a lot. I didn't really learn a lot of my symptoms or things like that from my specialists, I don't think. Like I've learned a lot reading these articles out and seeing what other people go through. So yeah, that is true. Ignorance is bliss. True. Oh yeah, you are not alone. The truth is, you are not the only one who has struggled with chronic illness. You are not the only one with a disease that seems to raise more questions than answers. You may have days where you cannot get out of bed because your disease is vying for control, but you are never alone. That's why I want to tell you my story. Up until recently, I realized that there was hope, and people who could empathize with my situation. I hope you enjoy reading about the path my illness has carved out for me. Let's start at the beginning. When I was a child, if I did something I shouldn't... Hold on. I would stand in the corner for 15 minutes. As punishment goes, this is relatively innocuous, but it stayed with me as I grew. That's when my chronic pain first erupted in my life. Ever since I could walk, I was plagued with chronic knee and ankle pain. When I had to stand for long periods, in a corner for instance, my knees would hurt a lot. This was also the first time I convinced people there was a problem. I weighed a little more than most kids my age, and I remember my pediatrician telling my mum that I had tight tendons in my legs, and that must be what was causing the pain, along with my weight, of course. Stretching, running, and playing would help, he said. Whoa, stretching, running, and playing would help. I'd like to know what her immune system thought of that. If I stretched and ran and played like the other children. Does weed treat MCTD? I don't know actually. That would be interesting to look into. I'm sure some people out there would be interested in it, so I can add that to my list of things to explore. Through the streams, I can look for an article. Oh, and keep the suggestions coming, by the way. It's getting a little bit more difficult to find articles, so yeah, definitely keep them coming. Alright, if I stretched and ran and played like the other children in the neighborhood, frequently the next day would find me limping in pain. Ah, there you go. Her immune system was not happy with that advice. No noticeable injuries or sprains, just lots and lots of pain. The teachers and family members suggested I was a hypochondriac or was lazy and trying to get out of chores. See, this is like some of the stuff I've touched upon in previous weeks. Some people, it can be difficult to explain it to people who don't have it, and also because it's rare. Because like, some people might just look at you and be like, "Oh, you're fine, you're being dramatic," or well, what if they're making it up? Obviously, people who don't know you might go to another person and say, "Oh, look, she's making it up, right?" Because you got it's a rare disease and all that. So yeah, it simply wasn't possible for a 7-year-old to be in pain every day. Whoa, oh, she's very young too. That's very young. Although I wonder if it was a precursor too. I'm in high school and oh, sorry, I didn't read out the title. Oh, I did, didn't I? Ah, puberty. I'm in high school and I still have leg pain constantly. At 12, I was diagnosed with arthritis and given a prescription for naproxen, naproxen to help with the pain. The medicine did nothing, and I hated taking pills, so they ended up going in the bin after a few months. When I was 14, a different doctor said it wasn't arthritis, but he had no alternative diagnosis to offer. The pain in my knees was constant. I would have episodes of ankle pain so severe I was unable to put weight on my foot at all. My hip joints began hurting on occasion as well. I had been to the ER once at this point for trouble breathing. That turned out to be my first panic attack. By 15, I had severe generalized anxiety that wouldn't be diagnosed until age 19. I had been dealing with I don't think I can say this word on Twitch. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay, I'm gonna say personal injury. Yes. Anxiety and constant pain for years now. Oh, sorry, personal injury ideation, anxiety and constant pain for years now. I saw my fourth orthopedic specialist at 16 who informed me that I had severe chronic tendonitis in every tendon in my legs. This didn't make sense when I thought about it, but I jumped at the chance to put a name to my problem and enrolled in physical therapy sessions 3 times a week. These helped some, but as you can imagine, given the ridiculousness of the idea that I have had chronic tendonitis since birth didn't fully alleviate my symptoms. It offered me my very first tools for managing my symptoms. I learned to pay attention to the changes in the severity of the frequency of my symptoms, and I learned that stretching regularly does a lot to help my pain level. Hello, yoga. I would like to get into yoga. I too have been recommended yoga. The light at the end of the tunnel. I went to another few specialists over the next several years and again had my previous diagnosis debunked, with no new ideas to replace it. During my senior year of high school, Dude 1. Oh, look who it is. Well, hello there, Starcry. Yeah, yoga. How am I going? Am I still going okay? My preview has some technical difficulties. Okay. Yoga is top. Yoga is top. I completely agree. I actually used to do a lot of yoga before my diagnosis, so I was quite proud and good at it. I'd like to try and get back to that again as best I can. Be well. Yes, you be well too, Starcry. Happy greetings. What is it? What is it? Oh, what did they say in Demolition Man? So one of you two send me what they say in Demolition Man. Be well, is that all they say? Isn't there like a joy thing? It's well, Starcry, do you remember what they said in Demolition Man? Come on, I want to say it. Is it joy feelings? Hi, Choc. Jeez. Oh, you're talking to the other shadow. Wow, neither of you remember Demolition Man? That's just sad. I don't know if either of you two can remember, or our other fine chatter. I will keep an eye on chat for it. Alright. During my senior year of high school, I dealt with an eating disorder in an attempt to control my mysteriously expanding waistline. I was restricting myself to about 500 calories a day and managed to gain 80 pounds in 6 months. Oh, American units, hold on. 80 pounds, 2 kilos. Oh, I accidentally put in 880 pounds. Oh, 36 kilos. Damn. That would have been scary. I don't mean that. No, she gained 36 kilos. Hey, there's nothing wrong with gaining 36 kilos, but as the person gaining it, you would be scared. That's all I'm saying. Do you think Cryle when? Do you think Cryle when? Or do you sin lié Cryle when? Cryle Ren? Oh, fuck, I would be very scared. Okay. I couldn't stay awake despite drinking approximately 40 ounces of black coffee every day. Alright, we got another American unit. Ounces to... What would ounces be? Liters? Do they not have liters? They have ounces. What did she say? How many? Hold on. 40 ounces 40 ounces to milliliters? 1,100. Oh, 1.100 liters. Whoa, that's a lot of coffee. I bet you didn't do anything either. We got a bit going on in chat, which is fine. I'm happy to have a bit going on in chat. I will have my vengeance, Ren. I see. Were you trying to say Kylo Ren, Starcry? Okay, I couldn't stay awake. Oh, sorry. As a straight-A student my entire life, I began failing my classes and had to drop out of my extracurricular activities. Why is my face like this? Oh, is it because it's tilted up? I began failing my classes and had to drop out of my extracurricular activities because I kept falling asleep during meetings. Whoa, she must have been like dead tired then. I think for me, it's the chronic fatigue is like, I have to be really, really, really exhausted. And my like internal body clock has to be setting off alarms, so it's got to be very late before I can fall asleep. But if I'm having a flare up, and then waking up is always really hard. I kind of liken waking up to a sleep hangover, right? Because if I'm wake up and, you know, too soon, or like, you know, because my body demands me to just keep sleeping, if I get up anyway, it's really difficult. But even if I give in to my body's demands and stay asleep, it's like, it feels, like I wake up feeling like I've got a sleep hangover. Okay, I'll admit, I don't know what a hangover feels like, but I imagine that it would feel like a hangover. I imagine if it would feel the same, okay? You just feel like, ugh. I suppose I have no authority in making that judgment call, actually, but, you know. Oh, okay. I don't know. I slept in classes at public school. It's not too hard. Wow, I don't know how you'd have the... Somebody who falls asleep in a public setting must just, like... I don't know. They just must, like, have no fear. Or not, like, have any self-consciousness. Or maybe not have no self-consciousness, but... You know, because you'd have all those people around you who you don't know, all those strangers around you, while you're asleep and vulnerable. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. But yes, Mazza, I do envy your ability to sleep anywhere. To stop, drop, and sleep. Okay, let's continue. My anxiety continued to get worse, along with my pain and depression. I saw a brilliant GP who diagnosed me with Hashimoto's disease, and also immediately sent me to a cardiologist because, at 17, my resting blood pressure was 178/95. That led to all kinds of scans on my heart, assuming that with blood pressure that high, I must have some type of heart condition. Nope. Perfectly fine, diagnosed with idiopathic hypertension, aka another doctor who didn't know why I was sick, and given yet another medication. I can imagine it. I can imagine it must be difficult. You would yell at people, Maz. Maz would yell at people, this is true. Now, I'm 20. Okay, dealing with mental health. Now I'm 23 and I'm taking 5 medications every day. I collected diagnoses of Hashimoto's thyroiditis, idiopathic hypertension, generalized anxiety disorder, major depression. Still, the big question mark around my pain is there. I have new symptoms too, and I'll go through periods where any little thing I eat leaves me bloated. I can feel my skin stretching from my stomach's distension. Moreover, I reasonably severe hives. Okay. From fingertip to elbow and toe to ankle. That has no discernible cause and is not helped by allergic medicines. Hold on, am I reading this correctly? Sook cry? Or sook cry, or is it sook cry? Um, uh, the hives led me to an allergist. A very, very smart allergist with interest in immunology. Well, that's handy. In addition to learning I'm allergic to soy, hops, and just about every plant and animal on this earth, he ran many blood tests. Whoa. Wowza, that is tricky. We went from sorts of lupus to... Now, how do I pronounce this? Okay. Sjogren's? Sjogren's. Oh. Syndrome finally landed on mixed connective tissue disease. Upon discussing with him the symptoms that MCTD patients present, it felt as though he was describing my life. He sent me to a rheumatologist to confirm the diagnosis, who ended up telling me that I also, apparently, have fibromyalgia. I think that's actually one of the things you can have with MCTD, so I think I may be remembering wrong or misremembering. Dietary change. The great thing about my diagnosis that seems to encompass all of my issues was that I have Google on my side. Unfortunately, modern medicine pushes for immunosuppressants and all kinds of harsh medications. This is sad but true. I was so tired of taking pills every morning and needed a different answer. So I did countless hours of research and began keeping records of my symptoms to try and find triggers. Now that takes dedication. So I learned about the autoimmune protocol, a dietary change centered around holistically calming your immune system to give you a solid chance at achieving remission. I am now down to just 2 medications per day. Well, congratulations. And hoping to eliminate those last 2 within the next year. Listening to my body is crucial and paying attention to my symptoms. Working from home helps with my stress levels and makes all my symptoms less severe. That's smart. Where am I up to? I learned about the autoimmune protocol, a dietary change centered around holistically calming your immune system to give you a solid chance at achieving remission. I am now down to just 2 medications. Oh, wait, I just read all that. Yeah, hold on. So I began eating foods that nourished my body and calmed my overactive immune response. I swear I could hear it say thank you, as my issues with bloating, weight gain, and chronic fatigue faded to very manageable levels. Ooh. Final thoughts on mixed connective tissue disease. Oh, yeah, good one. Hold on, wait, hold on. Okay, Switch has... Switch is auto. The bots. Okay. Hold on. Let me try and... Time out. Alright, I'm gonna allow this. Oh, wait, no, maybe I shouldn't. Hold on. The auto mods have, snagged this message. Okay, I can't do anything about that. Hold on. Right. Final thoughts on mixed connective tissue disease. Well, the auto mods are pretty smart, man. Well, not smart. More, they've got a very wide range of vocabulary. There is no magic button you can press to make mixed connective tissue disease go away. Also, to any VOD watchers, this chat is all in good jest. My chatters all know each other well, so don't worry about that. This is classic banter between them. There is no magic button you can press to make mixed connective tissue disease go away. No pill you can take that will truly heal your body. The only weapon you have is hope. You know what I like about all these? They're all good because Chocolate Jesus, are you able to comment? Maybe I can fix this. Hold on. Okay. Hopefully that fixed the issue. Just be careful because the auto mods catch F off. They register it as oh, nice. Nice. I didn't get a lot of the global emotes. That's good. That's a good one. Yes, I allowed your comment because I know it's not. The auto mods flagged it, but I know that between you guys, it's in good jest. It's not bullying at all, so I allowed it. So don't worry about that. There is no magic button you can press to make mixed connective tissue disease go away. No pill you can take that will truly heal your body. Yeah, I think, you know, because Australians, well, they swear a lot, and it's not. My personal opinion is that sometimes when an Australian swears to their mate, as they say, it's not the. It's got its own definition. I get that. Okay. It's, you know, it's even affectionate. Or maybe that's a bit of a strong word. Okay. The only weapon you have is hope. Persevere through the dozens of doctor visits and never let your hope die. I do like that all these articles, they've really, everyone's put the message of hope forward, you know? Stay strong, don't give up. Hold on to your hope. Hold on to your faith. You aren't the only one who's going through this, and there are lots of people ready and willing to lend a kind word or helping hand as you try to find your own best self while managing a chronic illness. For greater insight interacting with those, oh, this is a bit of an ad, suffering from the issues mentioned in this article, or if you would like to chat with others affected, try the app We Are More. And there we go, that was Miss Deskins. Alrighty, now, it has been an hour and 24 minutes. Do you guys want me to read another article, or do you reckon it's time to wrap it up? Or do you guys have any questions? I didn't expect the article. I prepared a few. I didn't expect them to go that long. I'll see how long the others are. Yes, it is very wise. Oh, I just want to let you guys know, I have a little bit of a lag. I think it's maybe, I don't know if it's a minute or so, but I get your comments. So if you hear me respond like a minute later, that's just because I've got a bit of a lag receiving comments. So do we want to wrap up here? Or read a couple more? The next one's a bit shorter. The next one's actually very short. Well, while you guys, I reckon another one. Hold on, why is this got this locked here? Go away. When is next session? Oh, okay. So thank you for asking. They are every Saturday night. Why is this stuck on my... How do we get rid of this? Go away. Go away. Go away. I don't know how to get rid of that. Okay, I think it's gone. Alright, so I do these Living with MCTDs every Saturday night. I did a bit earlier today, which was good. I think that was good. So yeah, and as I said, it's for MCTD and more. So anyone can join in or chat about the... And I actually kind of want to work up and like when I've got some more viewers and people and regulars, I kind of want to set up something where people can submit their stories to be read out aloud in the session. I think that'd be really cool. So yeah. Okay, so I'll quickly read out this one because it's very short and then we'll wrap up. When I first met Dr. Okay, this is on the Back in the Game site and it's by Miss Gatsiolis. When I first met Dr. Barbhaya in 2019, I was in significant pain. The medication I'd been put on to treat lupus was ineffective. I wanted to become pregnant and was fearful. Oh, wow. And was fearful of trying because focalized pain in my arms. She started at square one, changed my diagnosis to MCTD, altered my medication, and got me into occupational therapy. It was truly life-changing. That same year, I became pregnant with our now 4-year-old daughter. I am certain that she would not be here if I hadn't seen that doctor. She is kind, takes the time to listen and connect, is amazingly knowledgeable, and solves problems. I am forever indebted in her care. Oh, that was very short. Oh, well, that's nice. Congratulations. Alright, so we've got... I'll keep these other ones, because then we'll have some more to look at next week. And thank you very much for joining in. I will keep in mind those questions you guys asked and look them up. So that's lupus, and the other one... What was it? I think it was weed from CTD. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was it. So I will look them up and hopefully see you guys next week. This was Mysteria Rayne, Living with MCTD Week 3. Thank you for tuning in. And keep an eye out for the law video drop, which I am working on. Okay, goodbye. Yes, see you next time, and you are welcome. I definitely enjoyed it. I think best stream so far. Thanks. I think it's the same model, just a different outfit. Alright, thank you. Bye-bye. Oh, and take care, everyone. Thanks, Chocolate Jesus. Loves the name, by the way. Great name. Alright, okay. I better get going. We're on an even 1 hour and 30 minutes. See you next time.